Hey guys and gals, welcome back to the shop. This is Big D, Woodworking with the Idiot. Today I'm not a one-man band in the shop, so hopefully we can make a whole recording and I don't have to worry about it shutting off like the last video. Happy Labor Day. It is Monday, Labor Day. I hope y'all had a good weekend. I'm hoping to have this up by the end of the day today. But today I'm not a one-man band. I've actually got my wonderful fiance behind the camera, making sure that everything's going good. This is the first time I'm going to do a recording in front of somebody, so bear with me. I'm camera shy as it is. Now we're going to do a glue up today on one of my cedar signs. We are going to be doing another video on the glue up of the doors that I'm making for an American flag gun rack here at a later date, probably within the next week. But that glue up is going to be a little bit different. I use biscuits when I do that glue up, and a lot more clamps than what I'm going to use today. So today we're going to talk about my cedar sign glue ups. When I had one ready. I had a piece of cedar. Bear with me. I had a cedar 2x4. It's right there beside you, Ash. When I buy cedar, I buy this at Lowe's. Cedar is not a species that is grown around northwest Pennsylvania. It is a western wood. So I'm finding some cedar around a little bit more and more at some of the bigger stores in the bigger cities where they get it imported in. However, Lowe's carries a 2x4 rough cut green cedar board. And that's where I buy it. I buy this, it's rough cut and it is wet. It is wet and green when you first buy it. Now, like I mentioned in the last video, and we are working on the PDF version still, I've got the kiln coming that we're going to offer the plans for sale on at our Etsy shop. However, when I buy this, I do not throw it in my kiln right away. It is that wet. This needs to be air dried, stickered and air dried for a good month and a half. If winter time, even longer if you're putting it in your shop and you don't have consistent heat. But before you if you do buy the kiln design, once it's up and ready, you don't want to throw. I can put the other cedar, the smaller the post signboard that I buy from Home Depot in rather quickly without air drying it too much because it's thin, but this 2x4 stuff holds the moisture. But this stuff has been dried. After I buy it like this, I do dry it out. I get it down to about 6%, if not even below that if I can. But by the time I'm done with it, I plane it down on both sides, all four sides. I run it on the joiner, and it makes a nice board to make a sign blank. This one's going to be 10 inches by 45 inches. Now, I haven't cut anything down as far as sides. I leave a little extra room, length and width when I'm gluing them up. And I'll cut them down after they're sanded down pretty good before I lay out the carving. So, these are the boards that I'm going to use for this glue up. If you want to bring the camera down now, you guys are not going to be able to see my head. I wore my nice American flag knitted shirt today for Labor Day, so while you're watching my belly jiggle around, you'll see the America flag bouncing around. Anyways, now when you're doing a glue up like this, I'm going to use 5 clamps on this glue up here. Make sure you lay some newspaper down. The glue that I'm going to use is, can you see that on camera? Titebond 3. It's an indoor and exterior glue. An indoor and exterior glue. It's waterproof and it's some good stuff. I've tried using that Gorilla Glue in the past, and I'm going to tell you, after spending the money on electric and time by drying my sign pieces out, I just have a problem adding water to the edges of my dry signboard. So I stopped using it. I just didn't like using it. And this Titebond, I tell you what, it's been good stuff. My dad, the Reverend's, used it for as long as I can remember when it came out. And I remember using the old Elmer's glue back in the 90s. But Titebond 3. Now, Titebond offers several different types of glue. And actually, I just did my homework last night on glue. Titebond offers a glue that doesn't set up quite as fast as this. This stuff sets up pretty quick. Where they do have a glue that if you need a little more time, if you're doing a bigger glue up or whatnot, they have got an extended. And I haven't used it yet, but we're going to pick some up here in the next week or so, and we're going to try it out. Especially, I think I'm going to try it with the American flag doors that we're going to be gluing up here in the next week or so, because I'm going to need a little more handling time when I'm putting that sign blank together by myself. Pretty simple on gluing this. When you're laying out your boards, whether you've got 3 pieces of lumber, whether you've got 7 pieces of lumber that you're going to be gluing together, make sure the end grain is opposite of one another. And when I say that, you're going to see here, is this a good one? You're going to see here, can you see the end of the grain? The grain is going down like a rainbow. And then it's going to be, if you have it upside down the other way, it's going to be going down like a scoop in the sand. You want those to be opposite. So I'm going to put the grain end on this one. I'm putting it up or down. Yes, I'm putting it down. The next one will be up, and the next one will be bowing down. That way, once the glue settles, you're not going to get any warpage in your sign. It's going to stay pretty strong, pretty tight. Gluing up's pretty simple, though. When I use the tight bond, I go ahead and this material, I think we planed it down to like 1.5 inches. No, probably even under that. I can't quite remember, but there's a wide surface that needs to be glued. So we're just going to put the glue on in kind of like a spiral shape. You want to make sure you get enough glue on there for a nice tight bond. You don't want those gaps. And then what I do on that first one is I take a little piece of flat board and I just paint that glue on there and get everything coated, because I want everything to be snug and tight when I clamp them together. Might even need to put a little more glue on this. It's looking that way. The wider material, I haven't used it in a while. It does take a little more glue, of course, but I'm just going to put another little bead going down. And spread it out pretty good. I don't care if the glue seeps out a whole lot. I mean, I want to keep it clean and fresh, but I will be taking a plane after the glue up, we plane it down with a surf form. And we're probably going to go ahead and do a video on that. I want to make as many videos as I can and get up for you beginners that are just starting out in the woodworking. So we're going to do as many as we possibly can, keep it exciting. Someone's out mowing the grass right now as I'm doing a video. Cool. A lot of activity on a Labor Day. Everybody's laboring. Alright, that's pretty good. So we're going to lay that one down, keep that up there. And then we're going to do this one. I do the opposite of each one. Put a little more glue on there this time. Want to use the same stick that I had. Yeah, much better. Just glides right on. Now I will tell you, when you're planing this, and I'll go over it in the next video, but while I'm sitting here doing nothing, when you're planing this, that glue gets hard. It does get hard. So it's going to be tough on your planer. It's harder than wood, especially the cedar that you're working with. It is tough on the planer. I don't ever run glued up pieces through my big planer. The blades just cost too much. Even those carbide tip blades on the big planer, they cost too much, and glue will eat those up, eat those carbide tips up. Next is pretty simple. I'm going to lay this side down. Butt this side down. I'm going to match up the corners. Usually I would put a square on it, but this is like 3.5 inches longer than what it needs to be, so I'm not even going to worry too much. Now, you want to make sure your clamps don't get messy from the glue. So I always lay newspaper on top of my clamps, actually, before we set up, I forgot to lay the newspaper down, but we lay the newspaper down under the clamps, and then always use little pieces of wood, thin pieces of wood. This is like 1/8" plywood or some Mickey Mouse board. There, you put on the inside your clamp, and just that first clamp, you're just gonna, I don't even put any pressure. I just get it to where it's closed, then I go down to the last clamp, put my little pieces of wood in. I've already got that pretty snug, but I'm gonna just clamp it down just a little bit, and then I go into the center. So I got 3 on a 45" sign blank. I've got three clamps on the bottom. I snug those down. I know that middle board's up a little much, so I'm gonna adjust those so that it makes the planing a heck of a lot easier. I'm gonna come down here. That's up. Put a little pressure on there. That middle one's sticking up just a tad bit. All right, I got that pretty good. All right, I'm gonna put a little pressure there. This is gonna sand up and finish up nicely. Got glue on my hand. I don't have any gloves. I ran out of gloves. Normally I wear plastic gloves when I'm gluing up and inking and stuff, but I don't have any gloves today. So my fingers will stick together. So I've got 3 on the bottom, then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 clamps to the top. 1 in between each other. I thought I had 2 pieces. I do, somewhere. Oh well. Cut that in half. That's simple, huh? Put a clamp between those 2 clamps. I should have had this set up to fit, but I don't. There we go. You know what? We're working with the idiot. It's not supposed to go perfect, because nothing ever goes perfect in the shop. You always gotta tweak something. It seems like I make mistakes all the time. I don't pretend to be the best master craftsman out there. That's why we're called Woodworking with the Idiot. A little pressure there. Make sure those joints are pretty flush. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down a little bit on the bottom because I got it right where I want it. Tighten that one down a little bit. The last clamp. Okay, there's one. Like I said, this glue does dry up fast. And I had another one here. Just go ahead and get in the bag of goodies. This one's an old clamp. Need to get some different clamps. I'm using just an old pipe clamp. We use pipe clamps quite a bit around here. I think this clamp is a stickler. I think I've had problems with it. It's gripping now. Okay, I'm looking. My joints are pretty close. Now the reason I put 2 clamps on top and 3 on the bottom is I always stagger my clamps. Always. 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, to help prevent warping. Now, small sign like this, I normally don't get a warping issue. When we do these doors, I'm going to make the doors one solid, I think it's 32.5 by 53.5 inch sign blank, made out of poplar. I'm making it out of poplar. I haven't decided if I'm going to mix cherry in there or yet not. There might be poplar and cherry in the doors. However, you're going to notice when we do that, warping for me is going to be an issue. I use a ton of clamps just for this one, but sign blank. I want it to be straight. I want it to look nice when we're done with it. So we're going to use a lot of different clamps on that one. But this one's done. I'm going to let this sit until, right now it's probably noon. So I'm going to let this sit probably till tomorrow morning is all. And then I'm going to come out and we're going to take a surf form and a hand plane to it if we need to a little bit. But Other than that, we're going to sand it down and get it laid up and carve a sign in it. That's all there is to making one of these smaller sign blanks. Hey everybody, can you see my head? Get back on my head. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in, watching. Please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below for all the videos that I got coming for you. Like our Facebook page, Woodworking with the Idiot. I am your idiot, Big D. Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Woodworking with the Idiot. Our Etsy shop, it is not Woodworking with the Idiot. It is DBW Woodworking. That's the actual name of the business. So our Etsy shop is a little more professional than the rest of our social media activity. Woodworking with the Idiot, though. Share us. There's plenty of me to go around. God bless. Have a good Labor Day.